constructed that like crazy. All right, everybody, welcome back from the copywriting review and critique. Hopefully you guys had some breakthroughs on those. So to understand why people buy, we first must understand people. So right here, I want to go through over some psychology behind humans, why they buy, why they listen to things, how to shift their beliefs, and so on and so forth. All different ways that you can actually get people to buy or get people closer to the sale or just get them to take action. Now, the reason as to why these are so important is because a lot of people don't understand that marketing is all just psychology. Marketing in sales is just learning how to understand people, how to understand what they want and give them what they want. So people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And this is something that's true in not only copywriting, but also in outreach as well. So understand top of mind, prove that you know what the reader is going through, and make your copy personal, like chats between friends. So these are the main bullets. So when it comes to people buying from people that they know, like, and trust, people buy from people, okay? I get it. Like, people buy things because of the product, and the product is all great and fine and dandy, but the people comes first. The brand comes first. People only buy from things that they know, like, and trust. If they don't know, like, and trust something, they're not going to buy because they just don't know if they're going to get their money's worth. Let's say you've had an experience with somebody before. Let's say you're watching somebody's fitness content on Instagram, and you go through your Instagram feed every single day. You see their super helpful tips. And aside from fitness, they also have a puppy of which you love. And you love puppies. They have a golden retriever, just like you have a golden retriever. So you're able to relate to them. You're going to be much more likely to buy from that person than just some random person you just met that you don't know. You don't know anything about their content. You don't know what they're talking about. You don't know if they know what they're talking about. And buying something from them would be a complete chance. You'd be taking a risk. Whereas this person, they're already giving you value on their Instagram page. So why wouldn't you buy their personal training program, for example? This is because you know, like, and trust them. You're going to hear this all the time. Sometimes it's referred to as KLT, but I'm telling you, every single marketer and business person knows these words and knows about know, like, trust factor. Now we have to talk about stories. Stories is probably one of my favorite parts of not only marketing, but copywriting as well, because stories are the most effective belief shifters that there are, because it takes perfect advantage of the rule of showing people why you're convinced rather than trying to convince other people. And it's so crucial in marketing. And the longer you stay in marketing, the longer you learn about this sort of thing, the more you're going to understand why stories are so effective and why showing why you're convinced is so effective. Telling effective stories is something that a lot of beginner copywriters struggle with hard. It's something that I struggle with hard. It's the most difficult form of emails to create, because what people end up doing is they create a chronology and not a story. So let's get into the points here, and I'll break it down bit by bit. So stories are what get people emotionally invested. Stories cannot be argued with, and most people can't tell a good story to save their life. So stories are what get people emotionally invested. Dude, stories are what people have been entertaining themselves with since the beginning of mankind. You know, all those like drawings that the cavemen used to draw on the caves? Those are all just pictures telling a story. The earliest form of human entertainment that exists is just storytelling. So being able to effectively tell a story is how you sell. Most people talk about storytelling. We are talking about story selling. So stories cannot be argued with. If I get on a video and I say, hey, here's how you can get huge biceps in just 8 weeks. Now I'm telling you something. And the problem with telling people things is that, again, it causes friction. It causes objections. But if you say, here's how my arms went from this picture of them being skinny to this, a picture of them being ripped in just 8 weeks, I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you how I did it. Now, I'm not even making a claim of how I'm going to help you do it. I'm just showing you how I did it. And I'm literally showing why I'm convinced. I'm also giving you proof in the exact same sentence. This is the angle that you want to go for 90% of the time. And people have a lot of trouble doing that. When I read through people's copy, and you'll probably see it when I'm critiquing people's copy in the different sections of this lesson, is when I say that they're too telling. When they're too telling, this is exactly what I mean. So you want to show more than you tell in your copy. And showing, a big part of that is with stories. Next is that most people cannot tell a good story to save their life. So a chronology essentially means I was at the store, then I got some groceries, then my credit card declined, so I couldn't buy my groceries. So I just went home. I wait till I got paid next week, and then I went and got groceries then. But until then, I was just eating like crackers for the week. That's a chronology. I'm telling you what happened. But a story is more like, this is the worst thing that ever happened to me, and it was my breaking point. It was the incident that motivated me to to start making money online as soon as possible. Because there was one time where I was at the grocery store and I knew that I didn't have much money in my account. So I just wanted to grab the essentials. But the crazy part is I purposely did not look at my bank account because it was too painful. I don't know if you guys have ever been able to relate with this, but my bank account was so down bad that every time I even opened it up, it made my stomach turn. All it did was induce anxiety. So I avoided it at all costs. So here I am at the grocery store, knowing that I only want to get the bare essentials because I know I don't have much in my account. All I got was some canned food, some bread, some milk, some eggs. The total couldn't have been more than $50. And I go up to the cash register. I try to pay with my credit card. It gets declined. I pray to God that it's not insufficient funds and that, my credit card it just needs another tap. So I do it again. And I see the letters pop up on the screen. Insufficient funds, declined. Now I start to panic. I'm embarrassed as hell because I'm literally sitting here and I can't even pay $50 for some groceries. And I have to tell the lady, look, I'm not able to pay for these groceries. So she rolls her eyes because now she has to put them all back. And I'm holding up the rest of the line in the grocery store and everyone else is like staring at me. And I just feel like a complete idiot. And it was that moment where I knew that I did not ever want to feel like that again. So I locked in. I locked in harder than I have ever locked in before in my life. And then I started my business. Maybe the lesson is that you need to lock in. Maybe the lesson is that you need to start a business and here's what business is best to start. A whole bunch of different ways you can go from there. But you see, the difference was I was telling you exactly what the feeling was. So we're going to go deep into how to tell stories and how to structure stories as we go on. But for now, essentially all you really need to think about, and the most simple way to think about it is just think about the most popular stories that you've ever heard or that you've ever seen. Think of Nemo, for example. So we have a hero, we have the main character. That is the main clownfish. Nemo's dad is super protective, right? We can see that in the beginning. He's super protective of Nemo. Nemo gets lost and then he has all these adversities. The lesson that he learns through all of these adversities is that you shouldn't be so protective and that eventually you're going to have to let your son go. Let's talk about Spider-Man, for example. What happens in Spider-Man? But essentially what happens is he's just a kid in high school. He gets bullied. He wants this girl and he comes across all of these adversities. And through the whole story, essentially, the main lesson is what? The main lesson is with great power comes great responsibility. By telling these stories, essentially all it is you're telling a story. You're the main character or somebody's the main character. You have a goal. You have a clear goal of a path of where you want to go to. And then something happens, right? Usually it's some sort of adversity. And then through that adversity, you learn a lesson and then you give that lesson to that person and tell them what to do with it. And that is essentially in a nutshell how stories work. Now, we're going to go over example after example after example after example, but just know that is how stories work. That's how most people get stories wrong. And that's the basics of how to tell a story. So next to know is that an ounce of proof weighs the same as 100 pounds of promise. And this is going to be said throughout the whole course, okay? Not just here with copywriting, but also with outreach as well. An ounce of proof weighs the same as 100 pounds of promise. A lot of people do way too much promising when it comes to marketing in general. And it's really not about marketing. Again, if you are able to show what works, to prove that it's worked for other people in the past, prove that it works, and come at a point of curiosity or wanting to see. So I don't know if this is going to work for you. This has worked for hundreds of other people. Let's talk about it and let's see if this will work for you. Or this will work for you if you're someone who, or this is not going to work for anybody. It's only going to work for people who. Let's go back to the personal training example. I'm not going to say I can get anybody ripped. It doesn't matter if you're this age. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter if you're already overweight. It's like you want to make sure that you're speaking to the right people. You want to have an avatar in mind. So what you would do instead is say, look, this is something that's already worked for dozens of other people. And if you're somebody who is coachable, you're serious about this, and you're actually genuinely looking for what works and not just some shortcut, some hack that's not actually going to work out in the end, then this is what's for you. Testimonial marketing is the most safe yet effective form. So testimonial marketing is, again, just telling the stories of other people who you've helped in the past or other people who have had success with the product. Show the receipts of your claims and show, don't tell. Make promises attainable and hyper specific. So all pretty much self-explanatory. Next, perceived value is what drives action. Here's the thing, before I even get into the bullets, nobody buys something that's worth the price tag. Nobody buys something for $100 that's worth $100, weirdly enough. People want to buy things that have a higher perceived value than what they're paying. So if I see something and I'm like, damn, that's probably worth hundreds of dollars, $200, I'd buy it for $100. That's how everybody is. People never buy things that cost what they're worth. Basically what I just said. Benefits bullets are the most efficient way to perceive value and compare and contrast to other products while throwing stones. This is the big one. Comparing and contrasting to other methods, other things. So if you were to get yourself a personal trainer at the gym, like at a commercial gym, it would literally cost you hundreds of dollars per month. And they do what? 3 sessions with you per month? Completely out of the question. What's the point at that point? Why not just, and then you give them a better opportunity. People only buy if it's now or never. The feeling of missing out is one of the most powerful things that you can use in all of your copywriting. Use situational urgency like a deadline to inspire action. This can also be used with situational scarcity. Understand that more fact-based these are, the better these work. So the example that I love to give is, oh, well, you better get our ebook quick because our ebook is going to run out. We're going to sell out of copies of an ebook that is literally just held on the internet that is infinite. Doesn't make any sense, does it? So instead, we want to use things like situational urgency and situational scarcity. Now, there's non-situational scarcity, like for the first 10 people who buy, I'm going to also throw in this bonus. That's just a marketing tactic. That's just for the sake of being a marketing tactic. There's nothing wrong with that, but you only want to use those in promotions and you want to use them very, very sparingly because it's very obvious that you're trying to get more sales. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's going to cost you goodwill. It's going to cost you brownie points. People are going to see you as a little bit more salesy, which is not what you want. So instead, what you can do is use situational urgency and situational scarcity. For example, dude, the housing market is going crazy right now. Everybody's complaining because the housing market is so high. But you want to know the funny thing is that the best time to get into real estate is right now. Because while things might be flying high right now, they're not going to be flying high forever. And as soon as it dips below what it currently is, then that's when everybody starts buying. So if you learn now, when the opportunity arises in the very, very, very near future, it could be as soon as next month, you're going to be prepared. You're going to be like one of those people who bought up all the real estate after the 2008 financial crisis. And those are the people who literally bought a house for 200 grand and are now selling it for millions. And if you want that to be you, then click here to learn about real estate, right? That's kind of how that works. The same with scarcity. Scarcity is essentially just there's only 100 left, whereas urgency is this is only going to last for a limited amount of time. Those are the difference between scarcity and urgency. And next, we have to talk about putting the reader first, okay? Extremely important. So instead of saying words like I, we, or us, focus on talking about you, okay? When telling stories or anecdotes, always relate it back to the reader. Extremely important. And it's best to add what's in it for me in the beginning of most pieces of copy. So like I said, stories are extremely important, but you have to be careful with stories. Again, stories are a very delicate and touchy subject. They're not super easy to pull off. But with stories, it really comes down to relating the story to the reader. A lot of people also make the mistake of they tell stories just to tell stories, or they tell stories and they get right into the story without telling me why I should listen to the story, why I should watch the story. So for example, if I was like, here's the story of how I went to the gym for 5 years and made no progress and then changed 2 things. And then I went from 180 pounds to 220 pounds, getting 40 pounds of muscle in 1 year after 5 years of basically no gains. Here's exactly what I did so that you can replicate it and do it for yourself. You always want to add something like that to tie it back to the reader. Now that you know those copywriting lessons, I want you to keep an eye out. I want you to break down this copy with me that I'm about to share with you from my private students. And I want you to look at it and I want you to break it down using the lessons that you just learned. All right, everybody, without any further ado, let's check it out. Peace. What's this? Wholesaling sales program. Ready to make 20K plus deals on repeat? Click to play. Stop letting 20K plus deals fall through your pipeline. What kind of deals? Yo, wholesalers, if you're tired of figuring this shit out on your own, pull up a seat. This one's for you. Also, look at how far away this is. I'm sorry, but I ain't reading this first. Nobody's ever reading this because it looks like part of my tab up front. Okay, he has an exit pop-up. That's pretty good. Make it a part of the eyebrow copy. Ready to make 20K plus on deals on repeat? Stop letting 20K plus deals fall through your pipeline. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need a proven process. Okay. But maybe right now things look a little more like inconsistent sales, phone anxiety, not knowing where to go. So what is he giving you here? Guys, when I talk about email copywriting and you just need to compile all the stuff from their personal brand, he's literally giving this to you. He's giving it to you. He's like, here you go. Here's how you write my copy. Here's what people are struggling with: inconsistent sales, phone anxiety, not knowing what to do, and also an expansion of those as well. What if instead of searching everywhere for the answers, your day looked more like this? So losing deals because of a bad process to confidently closing 20K plus, assignment fees, knowing you've got income coming in, and all these ones. All of this shit is waiting for you. Stop wasting time when you can adopt a proven process that has made me millions. Process, double your assignment fees, plus make consistent sales. Eric Klein's 7-figure wholesaler sales program. Take a quick look at what you get inside. Value stack. Because I believe in winning together, there's more bonuses. Don't just take my word for it. Testimonials. You can get it today for total value $12,000. Normally $2,500. Yours only today for $1,000. Be the sales goat, and then a little bit about him. So this is actually pretty solid. I can tell that this was made by professional people, other than the headline. The headline was trash. I don't know what was up with that. Real talk, you're going to stay stuck unless you make a change. People fail in wholesaling not because it's difficult, but because they lack hustle. Bro, this is all stuff you can use in emails. So yeah, there's things he could definitely fix, but overall, this is pretty good. At least it has good information in it that we can swipe. Subject line, no subject, no preview. Okay, interesting. See a lot of emojis here. You don't want to use too many emojis, especially this dude. Like, this dude ain't using emojis. This dude don't even, like, no offense to him, but he's tatted. He probably has like kids that are like 20 years old. He ain't out here using emojis, my friend. Let's check it out. Do you really think I forgot to put a subject line? No, I made it no subject to capture your attention. And today, that's exactly what I'm going to help you master in your wholesaling biz. So you know what? This type of copy isn't a bad type of copy. It's just entertainment copy. There's nothing wrong with that, but don't go overboard with it. Because I've had clients before in the past, and this is something I got caught up with in the beginning when I was just starting to try to become a copywriter. When you want to write free value for prospects, or you want to start with them, you want to play it safe. Once you're on with them and you're working for them and they see your emails are working for them, only then you want to start to be more entertaining in your copy. Because there's nothing wrong with like playing a character in your emails and stuff and doing this sort of thing. But doing it too much or doing it for the wrong person, it's gonna make them feel like you're not doing their brand voice, and you're also not doing it seriously. Like, you're not taking it seriously. Capturing attention in your cold calls. Why? So you can stand out from the 500 trillion other wholesalers out there. Because I get it. When you were first taught to cold call, all you were told to do was read off some secret script, then pray that the lead was super motivated to sell their house. Okay, sweet. So this is dope. Relatability. The relatability here is good. I can tell you no. The problem? This strategy has a success rate of less than 1% if you're lucky. Why? Because when the homeowner answers the phone and hears the same script for the 1,000th time, they're going to throw you in the boat of, oh, another scammy real estate person trying to make money. It's a good justification. Translation, they're going to say not interested and hang up the phone ASAP. It's a good lesson. This copy is well executed. But how do you fix this? We'll grab their attention in a unique way. Instead of an icebreaker or being, what upgrades have you done to your house on address? Say something like, so name, why are you interested in selling your house? Is it because of your research some specific life situation about them? Name, understand that they've talked to thousands of wholesalers over the phone. So say something that makes you different. And from there, not only maintain that high energy, determination, and confidence, but also talk about topics the homeowner cares about. They don't give a care about what roof type they have. Instead of having conversation about their family memories in the house and what it's going to feel like moving, really get personal with the lead. Develop a deep connection with them on how show that you care. This way, they can trust you over the millions of other wholesalers who called their phones and ask them ridiculous questions about their house. Name, my wholesaling team was able to close over 100 deals last year just by getting personal with the leads over the phone. So if I were you, I'd ditch sleazy sales script and start trying to build personal connections instead. Sign off. P.S. If you want to see a live breakdown of one of my sales guys closing 3 leads in an hour just from getting personal with them, click here to get this free training video. It's really good too. It's good CTA. Honestly, bro, it's quite solid. It started out as entertainment copy, but then it went over to some value copy. I know with this is probably going to work like wonders on my email list. Something else to note, guys, when you do stuff like this, use this sort of thing sparingly. If you open up every single email with something that's kind of gimmicky and a joke and entertaining, it's going to get kind of old, and then it's going to get kind of annoying, and then you're going to become just blind to it. So if I sent this out to my email list, it would work really, really well, because 80% of my emails are very just pretty plain benefits based. Not plain, but they're a benefit with a specific intrigue or something else that makes it just a bit different. That's basically it. You don't want to refer to the subject line in the email itself because they may have forgotten it or get confused because they don't know what you're talking about. So you just say, So many business owners think SEO is dead, particularly those who have tried SEO for a long time but get no results, thus have no choice but to pour money into ads and pray for leads. So this is definitely not a third grade reading level word. Also, this feels like fluff. Like there's a lot of stuff here. Like this is like explaining stuff, what you want to do. And I get what you're doing. This is like a PAS, and this is what a lot of people have trouble with. So when it comes to structure, you're talking about the problem in like 3 to 4 lines. Then what's in it for me in another 2 to 3 lines. And then you agitate for whatever it is. Like, let's just say 8 lines or 7 lines. And then solution CTA is the other 7 lines. That makes sense to you guys? So like the problem is really short. What sometimes people do is they problem and then they go to agitate and then they what's in it for me and then they solution. But obviously that's not what you want to do. Because if I just opened up an email saying, man, copywriting is hard. Like it's impossible. It feels like it's impossible to click clients. You're outreaching all day. You feel like you're doing what everyone else is doing. You're getting ignored. When people ignore you, sometimes they reject you. Then you don't feel very good and you don't feel very good. And it hurts your confidence. And now you don't want to outreach even more. So then you stop outreaching. And then you've been kind of dabbling in copywriting for 6 months. Well, I'm going to show you how to not do that. By the time you get to the what's in it for me, I'm a little bit depressed on the inside. You get me? So you want to like talk about the problem for a second, relate to it, tell them that you know the actual solution, and then you can talk more about the problem after that again. While I'm not saying that paid ads are ineffective, can it be sustained in the long run? Pumping money into ads while having zero control over your costs per lead quality and quality of leads sounds like something being held hostage by the masters of Facebook to me. I still haven't gotten what's in it for me yet. The moment they stop putting money into ads, the leads stop coming without control. Are they really in the driver's seat of their business? Here's a cold, hard truth for these people. SEO isn't dead, it's evolving. And there's some really long lines down here. Wow, this is a long email. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing, my friend, and I'm already getting these vibes, so I'm gonna leave you with this. Get more concise and simple. And I get what you're saying. Here's the thing. You might be thinking or saying, but Tyson, this is a B2B offer. I thought you said B2B offers are more sophisticated. That's the word. And yes, that's true. But here's the thing. All copy needs to be simple, even if you're writing to intelligent people. Because here's the thing. Even when people are intelligent, they might not still read good. Me, myself, I don't read too good myself. I'm a lot better at reading out loud because I do it pretty much every day and force myself to do it. But think about it. I've been reading out loud for over 2 years and I still can't even string together a simple sentence. So here's the thing. When you make your message as simple as possible, you do 2 things. You make it accessible to people who aren't very good readers, and the people who are good readers, you make it more accessible to them, make it more understandable to them. So it's literally a win-win. There's no downside to simplifying your message. And like you explain really big ideas in here as well. Business owners today, particularly those who have doing SEO for a long time, got no results, thus have no choice but to pour money into ads, paid ads, and pray for leads. Like this is a long sentence. Well, I'm not saying paid ads are ineffective. Can also you say it here, like say paid ads right here. Can paid ads be sustained in the long runs? Pumping money into ads while having zero control over your cost per lead and quality of leads sounds like you're being held hostage by the masters of Facebook to me. Long. And then look at these ones. These are like all long lines, another pretty long line, long ass line, one short, medium, long, medium, long, yeah, and so on and so forth. And then just like a big jumble of words down here. And then more. Like the length of this email is also crazy. I don't know how you even fill it up with all this stuff. So yeah, bro, keep it simple. A really easy way to keep it simple is that, bro, like Alex Hormozi can literally explain the most in-depth business tactics as simple as possible. And to the point where he just gets people who aren't even business people to just like open up and read his book real quick. Yeah, literally like put it through Hemingway or put it through a software or an app and or even ChatGPT and just say, make this simpler, make this shorter, make this easier to understand. I don't want you sitting on the sidelines. Right now you fall into one of these 3 categories. Yeah, like this is a whole nother email. Like way too much. This is like a whole different email. Cut that. Yeah, make it shorter. So emails for the woman. Hey coach, we'll help you add at least $5,000 in new sales to your business in 16 weeks guaranteed. No catch. As long as you show up to do the work, your results are guaranteed. There's one thing I know for sure. It's that you're wildly capable of building an online coaching business of your dreams. How are you wildly capable of something? You're either capable of something or you're not. Also, this center line text is so bad, I'm not going to read it. Remember, when you're writing on a sales page, especially small text, like don't center it. Extremely confusing and hard to read. Let me guess, you've thought about starting your coaching business before, but you're overwhelmed, unsure, feeling like too many people are already online coaches, doubting you have what it takes, stuck in information overload. Oh, girl, I so get it. This is really freaking hard to read. Holy crap. My eyes. Dead end job equals freedom, or sadness is what you need for success. Yeah, okay, sure, these work. Although, like, this stuff is like, again, the exercise here is writing for women, and this is not really how women usually think. Not usually going to resonate with women. And this is why this exercise is so important, is because, dude, they speak way different than us. They think a lot different than us. This is on no misogyny stuff. There's nothing better or worse about it. It's just what they think about. Wait, is there actually prices down here? Pay in full for $3,900. A payment plan starting at $139, bro. $4,000 at $136 a month. I don't know how you make that into a payment plan. Guys, this is exactly what I'm talking about. She's gonna have a whole bunch of the wrong people in there, starting at $136. Thing that I wanted to show you guys is where she was like, oh, girl, I so get it. Like, dude, I wouldn't put that on my sales page because I'm a man. I'm a guy. Real talk. And then she talks about some more stuff, right? So they speak, I'm just saying that they speak differently. They think differently. And the problem with this is, like, sadness is what you need for success. Dude, girls just want to have fun. Girls like fun. Girls like happy. Girls want a business to make them happy. They build businesses to spend more time with their kids, to go travel on vacations so they have more free time. They don't start a business so I can make shit tons of money and get a supercar and stuff like us. So this would work something more for like business-minded men, not so much like women. Hey, Name, if you're currently stuck in a 9-to-5 cycle, that's good, because I will show you how you can use your dead-end job to make $5K per month. You may think that the 9-to-5 life is bad for you, that it's draining all your energy and not giving you any freedom. But it's actually the opposite. Instead of like telling here, because this is very telling, I might say in my experience, or for me, it was the opposite. This way, again, you're not telling, you're not trying to convince them, you're showing them why you're convinced. 9-to-5 is not only good for learning how to be disciplined and do the work that you need. Yeah, see, like, and guys, it should be challenging. It should be challenging to write this type of stuff. But nowhere in her sales page did she even touch on something like discipline. So, not womanly. I really hope I'm not offending anybody right now. But more important, after all the exhaustion and worry, you get the guts to quit and start your own business. Now you may think that I am talking some nonsense. But let me ask you a question. Why do you think diamonds are so valuable? It's because of the pressure they're facing during the creation. Now, I'm not only saying that you should go out there and get stressed and mentally crushed, but what you should do instead is use the pressure that you have on your shoulders right now. Put it in something meaningful, something that will give you the freedom to sleep in and be your own boss. Freedom to travel, sleep in, and be your own boss. This is what they want. Yes. Now you're getting the idea. See, here's the thing. I get your lesson, and your lesson is going to work, especially with women. You have to wrap your lesson in what I call sexy bacon, right? Just something that's attractive, something that looks good. It's like any marketing thing, especially when it comes to, let's say it's like fitness. I'm going to show you how to lose weight and live a happy life. And then they're like, they want to learn more. But you're like, okay, I'm going to show you how to do that and how to do it without having to starve yourself, and how to do it and actually have time for yourself and not break the bank. But it's going to be hard, and it's going to take discipline. That's an afterthought. That's the thing you get after. Right now, you're leading with the hardness. You're leading with the difficulty. You're leading with the downside, which is not necessarily what you want to do. So here's the thing, right? This sort of thing works really well on 18 to 24-year-old men, because those are some of the only people in the whole avatar space that you can say, that you can be super confrontational with. That's the Andrew Tate type of guys, like, that's super popular right now, but only for them. You wouldn't speak like that to people who are older, or even women as well. Again, free from the constant worry about the future, and the ability to spend your days exactly how you want without being tied to your schedule. Yeah, lead with all this stuff, dude. Now I get it. You might feel nervous and scared thinking about quitting your job and starting a business. It could go many ways, but that's the beauty of it. And if you don't believe that it's possible, here's what one of my friends did, testimonial. As you can see, name of a student, did this in just 1 month after quitting her 9-to-5. She was in the same position as you, stuck in a dead-end job, craving freedom to sleep in, travel, and be her own boss. You used these before. I would use different ones, because it sounds redundant when you keep saying sleep in, travel, and be your own boss. Also, don't use this. This is very chat GPT. When you ever use this double, like, long dash bullshit. Feeling burnt out and like her brain permanently stuck in work mode, affecting her sleep and overall well-being. Yeah, good. Now, if you want to achieve the same result as name of student, just reply to this email with the word quit and help me, so I can help you make $5K a month. All your best, your Marie. So I basically gave all my stuff there. Now, what's her name? Who made this? I really want to know what her Instagram is. so we can look for an angle. Yeah, I would talk a lot more about the dream state and transformation, because she's been really hard on that. She doesn't talk about discipline. She doesn't talk about it's going to take hard work to start. She just only talks about the good stuff. I help online coaches make bank while making a difference. Former multi-six-figure fit coach plus 11 years of experience, programs and free resources right there. Okay, so let's see what the free resource is. Let's get this party started. Explore my programs and tune into the pod or RSVP for my free training. Yeah, this is very girl business. Well, everybody, that was good. But if I come across a one that I really like, I like the angle and stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite it in my own words. And I'm also going to spend more time on each piece of copy. And I'm not going to go line by line and like I'm going to read it line by line, but I'm not going to focus too much on the specifics. I'm going to focus more on the overall feedback of the email. And then I'm going to tell you where to go to learn more. That's going to become the theme of today. First thing I can tell from this one, this line I can tell is really long. I haven't read it. It just looks long. You don't do many like small one-liners. I mean, you do a couple here. The CTA looks really long. The PS lines look really long. So I think you can probably, just from an outside perspective looking in, like I haven't even read the email yet, but you can probably make it a little bit more consumable and also increase the quality of pacing, meaning like you want to add some more shorter lines in there as well. So let's just go right through it. Subject line, shoot the gun, preview. You are now loaded with ammunition. So I don't know what the context is. So what you're going to want to do next time is link the prospect above. Also explain the angle and main idea. Also, this is really not very specific. I don't know if this is a gun guy. Okay, it's an Amazon FBA guy. So yeah, it's like an overly curious kind of clickbaity. Subject line preview could be make it have something to do with the related topic. So let's read it and see if we can come up with some more subject lines as we go on. I hope all the value I have provided thus far has not been stored in your computer collecting dust, and that you've actually been using the resources. I don't want you to miss out on the free sauce. Otherwise, that would defeat the purpose. My friend, all due respect, but this is 4 lines deep and you haven't said anything. This is a very long-winded way of saying hi. The whole point is to provide you with the foundation to begin your Amazon journey. You see, there's 2 things I've noticed that separates those that become exceptional at this and those who become average. So this is where the emails start. How would you start this better? Or you can start with like a perplexing question. So you can start like this. Hey, first name, how come some people start Amazon FBA, they struggle for 6 to 12 months and never make any money, while other people, like, I don't know, you can even do like a testimonial. The perplexing question, why do some people succeed and other people fail? Well, the main reason is because there's only really 2 reasons. And in this email, I'm not only going to share them with you, but also show you how to use these 2 strategies to get your first 5K a month with Amazon FBA. That's an example of how it would look. And like this is exactly where you would drive people away. The exceptional take action and implement. There's 2 things that separate the ones who become successful and the ones who are average. The exceptional take action and implement. Pretty blanket statement. I might add, try to add something more intriguing. Like imagine if I was like, here's what successful copywriters do that average ones don't. They don't take action. Yeah, you heard that right. Loser copywriters, the ones that never make any money, those are the ones that are always taking action and implementing. What do the actual successful copywriters do? I can't come up with the angle. But the reason that one would work is because it is a challenge to a commonly held belief. This is just straight up a commonly held belief. So when you tell me this, if I've already heard this a million times, which I have, oh yeah, take action and implement, take action and implement, take action and implement. How many times have you guys been told to take action and implement? And you're doing that and you're like, well, if that's the secret, then why ain't I there yet? There's easy ways to make this more intriguing. So take action and implement, but not in the way that most people do, right? That's a really easy, simple way to add some more intrigue to it. So that's just a not statement. Simply turning up and expecting to get results isn't going to cut it, no matter what you do. You have all the ammunition ready to go. Now it's time for you to shoot the gun. Yeah, the other problem here is that this is not really relatable to the subject line. To SL could be better and based on something else. If I look in my inbox and I see shoot the gun, you are now loaded with ammunition, I'm like, what? I'm just confused. Don't know what it is. Don't know why I'd want to open it. It's time to take the next step in your journey, because learning for free is a fantastic way to get started. However, to get to the next level in anything in life, you have to invest in yourself. Every successful person I know invested in themselves, but I know this is not easy, especially if you've never done something like this before. So to take this jump as easy as possible, I'm offering you one of my introductory courses for just $9.99. It's my Amazon product research course that helps Amazon sellers find private label products. Click the link if you want to get your foot in the door and start your journey with me to 10K a month in Amazon FBA. I look forward to seeing you inside. Until next time, Dustin. I want to reward you for being one of the brave ones for taking action. You are a legend, man. Here is a quick video on my story, how I went from being a pandemic to scaling multiple six-figure businesses. What I would do is, cut this. Boom. Look at that. You see first name, there's only two things, not even I've noticed, there's only two things that separates successful Amazon sellers from ones that make zero progress. Something like that. Short, simple, to the point. Boom, I just cleaned up that email like crazy. So not only will I show you what they are, but also how you can shave 6 to 12 months off your journey to hitting 10K per month, or whatever it is, with Amazon. There's only two things that separate successful Amazon sellers from ones that make zero progress. So not only will I show you what they are, but also how you can shave 6 to 12 months off your journey to hitting 10K a month with Amazon FBA. So it's a very specific benefit, right? Shave 6 to 12 months off your journey to hitting 10K with Amazon FBA. There's also tons of different angles you could go for, but see how this one's more specific? It's not just make money with Amazon FBA. It's not just hit 10K a month with Amazon FBA. It's more of like avoiding the traps. And then you could go a couple ways here. Now, again, this is chest openings. Right here, I gave a solution, a what's in it for me. And then I touched on a little bit of a problem, time that it takes. I could go agitate for the next section, where I talk about what most Amazon FBA sellers do, how it doesn't work, what it feels like to struggle, and where they'll end up if they never fix their Amazon FBA problems. Or I could just go right into the benefits, which is what he decides to do. So we're going to keep it as the benefits. Alex Hormozi value equation: increased likelihood of achievement, decreased time delay, and also decreased effort and increased dream state. You see first name, there's only two things that separates them. Not only will I show you what they are, but I'll show you how to shave off 6 to 12 months off your journey to hitting 10K a month with Amazon FBA. So you just hit them right here with the quote unquote lesson. Here's some things I could go with. Stop learning, where I warn you against going into the eternal learning phase. I can go, the successful are the least disciplined. Now, look, I know that this might sound insane, but Tyson, I thought in order to be a 10K a month Amazon FBA seller, you had to know this, that, and the other thing. Well, here's the thing is that you don't need more information, because you want to know what? You're going to sit there and you're going to learn something over and over and over again, but you don't actually know it. You only know it once you start applying it. And successful Amazon FBA sellers stop learning and they start applying. Otherwise, they're going to get caught in the eternal learning phase. It's like this. Marketing takes a day to learn, but decades to master. Why? Because it's not the big things that are hard to learn. It's the feedback that you need from the market. That's how I would freestyle it. I'm not going to write it down because that would take too long, but you get it. And then the next thing is you have to have skin in the game. The points that I'm giving are intriguing. So the exceptional, take action and implement. Heard it before. The exceptional, stop learning. Now you're like, what? Stop learning? How? That's called challenge intrigue, because you're saying something that is challenging most people's preconceived notions or preconceived beliefs. The next is just intrigue because it's curiosity based. What is skin in the game? What does that mean? It means you can making bets on yourself. And there's a couple ways that you can do this. So the first way you can make bets on yourself is by using other people to hold you accountable. Because when you tell somebody that you're going to do something, meaning let's say I'm going to make one Amazon FBA store by next week, and then you don't do it, you are essentially making a bet on yourself. When you lose that bet, now that person gets to call you a bitch. So that's number one. When you have a strong community of people and you see them winning and you see them creating their Amazon FBA stores and getting their first sales and starting to make money online, and you still haven't even started your website yet, it pushes you forward because you have skin in the game. The other best way to put skin in the game is to invest in yourself. Every successful person invests in yourself. And when you start to invest in yourself, the more and more you invest in yourself, the more you actually commit, because there is no turning back when you've actually invested a large chunk of your net worth into something. If you're looking for an effective way to invest in yourself efficiently, I'd like to present you a solution that's not going to break the bank. Today, I'm offering you my $99 course for just $10. It's an Amazon product research course that helps Amazon sellers find profitable private label products. And then this CTA is too long. If you want to get your foot in the door and start your journey with me, like that's not like CTA stuff. You might as well just cut if you want to start your journey with me, boom, just like that. So the other part about that last point is that when you give the lesson, you have to invest in yourself, it sounds like it's a sales message. When I say you have to have skin in the game, it doesn't feel like I'm selling to you. And then when I talk about the community, it still doesn't feel like I'm selling it to you. And then when I talk about, then you have to invest in yourself. And if you're looking for a way to invest in yourself, then that's a smooth transition where you don't feel like I just told you this point. This point, it feels like you're just telling me so that you can set up the CTA. Oh yeah, we have a damn We have a link, bro. That's what I like to see. Rest, recover, perform, breathing strips. Interesting. Yeah, this might not be the type of person you want to write for. Reason being is because he's just starting out. He's probably not even profitable. He's probably just some dude trying to start e-commerce. Yeah, these aren't usually the guys you want to start with, but let's check it out. And also with guys like this in e-com, they don't usually do the whole email marketing thing like we do it. Like we write email marketing, like those last couple ones were for personal brands. This one's for an e-commerce brand. So it's going to be different. E-commerce emails are literally usually just click here to get 20% off, a picture of the product, and then a little bit about how it works. And then that's it. So it's not really like a structured thing where you open it up and you give them what's in for me. It's completely different. Hey, name, I used to deal with it for years. Tossing and turning, snoring all night, waking up exhausted, breathless in the gym, stuck in performance rut. But once I strip on my nose, my life quality went from sluggish to supercharged overnight. You've probably been asking yourself, what on earth is this dude talking about? You're probably asking yourself, what on earth is this dude talking about? Just hear me out for a quick sec and it'll all make sense. So another thing we have to think of is like, where do these people come from? Okay, so let's do a little bit of funnel research. So this is really important actually. So what's the main link? The main link is a store. You go to a store. First thing he wants you to do is get the strips. You get the strips. Okay, so here's the thing. The people on his list already know the no strips are. This is another key point you guys all have to take into account. Pay attention, listen up. With e-commerce, the people who are on their email list already bought. Or sometimes they get people on their email list because they promise 10% off if they put in their email. So I'll go and give you guys an example of this one. Boom. Just like I said. So here it wants your number. Sometimes it asks your email. So it's going to say unlock $10 off. So they want your email. So that's how they get emails. And they also get emails from people who already buy from them. Okay. So those are the two ways. So needless to say, all the people who are on this thing, they know about no strips. They're somewhat interested in nose strips. They've clicked on an ad or clicked on the website and they have seen it before. So it's not, the conversation isn't more like, oh, what are nose strips? It's not really that. So think of it like this way, guys. The people on the list have either already bought or have already been thinking about buying. You need to think in your head, what is the thing that's stopping them from buying? And how do I address it? So things like when I'm thinking why people want to buy or why people aren't buying, I'm thinking risk, maybe they won't like it, price, and then like effectiveness. Those are the only really things that I can think of off the top of my head. So like, do these really work? How much are they and are they expensive? And what if I don't like it? Like, am I going to be stuck with 30 nose strips that I don't want to use? So how can we address these? So with risk, it can be easy, like small pack. Like now you can get them in 5-pack increments. 5-pack increments. So you can see if you like them or not. Or guarantee. If you don't like them, send them back and we'll refund your money. Price. This one's easy, like 20% off now. That's what a lot of e-com people do. Effectiveness. How nose strips, or whatever kind of effectiveness they have. But the whole story about like, you're probably asking yourself, what is this dude talking about? What is a nose strip? Like the people already know what a nose strip is. You can actually kind of go with this opening and go with this angle, but you have to assume that they already know what nose strips are. So it wouldn't be, you're probably thinking to yourself, what on earth is this dude talking about? They're most likely thinking to themselves, but do these nose strips actually work? Like, how do they actually work? And why are these ones better than any other ones? What do these ones do differently that the other ones don't do? That's more of what the conversation would be. So hear me out for a quick sec and then it'll all make sense. Having nasal breathing issues means poor oxygen intake during sleep, leading to restless nights and constant fatigue, which also compromises your performance in the gym. Worst of all is the 24/7 mouth breathing, leaving your mouth completely dry and even elongated face shape looking like this, an egg. But seriously, using transparent micro vibration nasal strips will enhance your nasal passages with airflow, providing you clear, effortless breathing day and night, resulting in waking up refreshed, ready to smash your workouts without gasping for air. So if you want to crush your workouts, sleep like a panda after a bamboo fest, then click here. Okay, so we actually have some really good stuff here. It's mostly the angle of they already know what it's about. Just tell them how it helped you, because you started off being, I used to feel like this, but then you tell them what they're going to feel after they start using it. Like keep it with you then, bro. If you've already started like that. So I noticed, and then tell them what you noticed. I noticed that I was able to get better sleep. I noticed that before using them, I didn't even think that I had bad sleep because I would quote unquote sleep for 8 hours a night. But I would sleep tossing and turning. I would wake up like 4 hours before I was supposed to in the middle of the night. And then all that deep sleep was gone. It wasn't until I actually started using the strips that I started realizing, holy crap, I've been having shit sleep this whole time. And with that new refreshed amount of sleep, I found myself having more energy, not feeling tired throughout the day, and being able to crush the gym. And smash pretty much all of my PRs and break through my plateaus that I've been struggling with for months now. And I'm not even the only person. I recommended it to all my friends. Now they're all using it and they're feeling the same stuff. So if you want to give this a try, you can actually give it a try risk-free, because now they're running a 30-day guarantee where you could use them, try them, and if you don't literally love them, then you can just send them right back and they'll refund you your money. Check them out here. That's more of the marketing message you want to go with. So the copy itself in here, execution is fine. It's just more of an idea thing. And this is not something I would expect even somebody in week 6, right? This is stuff that you have to have marketing knowledge to really get your head around it before you start, if that makes sense. That was awesome. We went through a lot right there. We talked about a whole whack of different things and different strategies when it comes to actually creating effective copywriting. All right, everybody, that's it for today. Of course, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. All right, everybody, now I want to focus on email copywriting. We've basically been focused on mostly email so far, but I wanted to hyper focus on email copywriting structures, because email copywriting is essentially the basis of pretty much everything that has to do with copywriting. VSLs, sales pages, every other form of copy can basically be narrowed down to emails. Video sales letter is basically just a bunch of emails. Sales page is basically just a bunch of emails. Okay, so we're gonna go through some email structures and talk about how to craft high converting copywriting emails. And emails is also one of the best copywriting offers that you can create, because it's something that's ongoing. And if it's something that's ongoing, you're gonna then be able to earn recurring revenue rather than just a sales page where it's just gonna be $1,000 for a project upfront and then never again. With email copywriting, you're able to get paid again and again and again and again, and you're able to essentially create a passive income machine for your clients. So we're going to go into exactly how. So understanding email copywriting structures. Copywriting structures are highly important to learn and understand, not only for technique, but also efficiency. Not knowing where to put things is like trying to apply makeup in the dark. You'll end up taking longer, doing it wrong, and having lipstick on your forehead. Great copy isn't written, it's assembled. And I cannot stress this enough. Guys, I have so many videos on this very channel where I create like 2 emails in the span of an hour. And again, like I can sell an email for over $200, but I create 2 emails over the span of an hour while explaining how I'm doing it. So I would have been able to make like 3 emails in an hour. That's like 20 minutes per email, $200 each. It really does come down to structure. It's just plug and play. So we're going to go through structure by structure. And then I'm going to, again, show you some videos of me critiquing copy and me going over some copy, me creating copy. And then you can pick out and point out what I'm doing based on the lessons that we're about to learn. Okay, so make sure you understand these and have these in your head. And every time you read an email, every single time, ask yourself, which one of these structures is this email based off of? So first and foremost, challenge, justify, and need. CJN, something that I personally came up with. This structure works by creating intrigue and curiosity to capture attention, keeps readers engaged while shifting their beliefs, and then tying the new belief to your call to action. So for example, the challenge. So the challenge is essentially you saying something that's so counterintuitive to most people's belief that people really want to understand why you said it. Then you justify your newly found belief. And then with that belief shift, you give them the need. You give them the CTA at the end. For example, squats are terrible for your legs. That's the challenge. Now, most people think that squats are great for you. Like squats are how you build tree trunk legs, I thought. Well, let's get into it. Here's a justify. Squats are painful and difficult to perform because of things like balance and early onset fatigue. Many people struggle with maintaining proper form, which can lead to injuries and ineffective workouts. That's why a muscle building workout plan that focuses on isolation exercises is more effective. Now, is this true or not? Essentially with copywriting, here's the thing, is that there's so many different ways to bake a cake. I could write an email about how it's only about squats and isolation exercises are the worst. And I could also create an email that's completely vice versa. It's all about how you justify it. You should be able to justify essentially everything. So here I'm talking about squats aren't the best. What you want is more isolation exercises. So the need. If you want to maximize your legs without the hassle and risk of squats, check out my video on this very topic. Click the link to learn how to start building stronger legs today. And that's the CTA. Very, very simple. Proving its effectiveness. So for an example, challenge, 8 cups of water a day is unhealthy. This one's really relatable because everybody thinks you should drink 8 cups of water per day. But in reality, it's actually unhealthy, and I'm going to tell you why. This could be for like a health and fitness person. Another example you could use is why 8 hours of sleep per night is unhealthy. Things that most people hold as true, telling people that they're false, showing them why, and then giving them a need afterwards. That is how very, very effective copy is created. And you're going to see almost every single piece of email copywriting, or many of them at least, are created with this very structure, even if they don't have like CJN, challenge, justify, need in their mind. Because CJN is something that I came up with. Obviously, I've been talking about it for a while, so all the copywriters in the 4D community are going to be using it. But even copywriters who have never watched my videos, they don't know what CJN necessarily is. This is a structure that has been used for years and years and years. I've just given it the name. So you're going to notice it very, very often. So justify. While staying hydrated is important, the 8 glasses a day rule isn't based on solid science. Hydration needs vary greatly depending on individual factors like body size, activity level, and climate. It's more effective to listen to your body's signals and drink when you're thirsty. Studies are shown that most people get enough hydration from their daily food and beverage intake without strictly following the 8-glass rule. And here's the need. If you want to understand more about how to properly stay hydrated and what science really says about your water intake, read our comprehensive guide. Click here to get the facts and stay healthy. Okay, so next is problem, promise, agitate, solution. Previously known as just PAS, I've created it as PPAS just to kind of give people a better understanding of where to put the what's in for me. Okay, so we're going to go through and talk about it right now. So you identify with a specific problem the reader has, tell them that you know how to fix the problem, show them that you understand the problem and highlight why they need to fix it now instead of later, and then you give them the solution to said problem as the CTA. So this is essentially what it looks like. Okay, so at the end, when you're giving them solution, of course, you're telling them what to do, but not how to do it, because of course, the how to do it is through the call to action. This is the problem solution loop that we've been talking about. So got an example. Problem, low motivation, try this. Here's a way to stay motivated in the gym and make you fired up to go every single day. So this problem is the low motivation. The promise is I'm going to show you how to stay motivated. The agitate, because lack of motivation often leads to missed workouts and stalled progress. Every skipped workout sets you back further from your fitness goals, making it harder to get back on track. The longer you wait, the tougher it becomes to regain your momentum. So I'm relating with the problem, and I'm also showing them where they're going to be long term if they don't fix the problem now. That's the agitate. That's usually what agitates consist of. Next is the solution. Download this fitness motivation app and get personal workout plans, daily reminders, and motivational tips to keep you going strong. Click here to start your free trial and transform your fitness journey. Okay, so another very, very simple example. So PAS, here's what PAS would look like. I do have that problem. I identify with that problem. Wow, this problem needs to be fixed right now. That's like the agitate. And then there's a solution. And then you follow said solution. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tyson 4D, and you already know what we came here to do. As you can see, we just talked about problem, agitate, solution, and we're going to learn the last and final structure, which is hook, story, offer. I'm keeping it simple. I'm keeping it short. I'm keeping it compact. Hook, story, offer. What does it mean, HSO? Hook the reader in with an attention-grabbing line or promise. Step number 1. Tell a story that shifts the reader's beliefs in your favor. This utilizes the rule that we talked about. Show why you're convinced instead of trying to convince them. And this one's huge. Okay, I'll show you a whole bunch of examples as we go on. Next is to offer the reader something based on that new belief shift. So sounds simple enough. So how do we put it into practice? And I created this whole long story here for the example just because I came up with one off the top of my head, and I thought that this one kind of best showcases what that looks like. So the hook, what date will you be debt free? Kind of just gets people thinking. The story, I, like many people, was once overwhelmed by my financial situation. And this is the one thing that helped me achieve my dream of finally being able to be debt free. Now, this is huge because when you say, here's how you're going to become financially free, that brings up a lot of objections. Well, how do you know me? You don't know my situation. But if I say, here's how I became financially free, nobody's going to be able to argue with that. And it's going to be a lot more convincing because, again, you're showing why you're convinced. So let's continue here. The funny thing about financial problems is they tend to sneak up on you. A missed payment here, a late payment there, borrowing money every once in a while until something bad happens and it seems like your bills all pile up at once. So this is essentially where I'm showing them that I understand their situation. So when you're telling stories, there's a few crucial steps that you have to have. One, of course, showing why you're convinced. Second is to show them that you understand their problems. Remember, the main tagline of copywriting is when you can get inside the reader's head and describe their situation even better than they can, they will naturally look to you for the solution. So this is what we're doing here when we're showing them and we're telling them that we were just like them. I went through the exact same problems. And the key here is to be hyper specific. So being not very specific, for example, would be like, I had a lot of bills and I wasn't making very much money and my bills were taking out my money and I wasn't able to really save a lot. That's kind of like not very specific, very general. But if I say something like, oh, it felt like it was super slow. A missed payment here, a late payment there, borrowing money every once in a while didn't really seem like a big deal until one bad thing happened and it seemed like all my bills started to pile up at once. And I thought this was going to be the end until I decided to finally talk to a professional. It wasn't some secret wealth strategy they taught me that eventually pulled me out of near bankruptcy, but it was the simple fact that they helped me create a plan, held me accountable, and showed me where I was wasting my money. That's when I realized if you don't know what day you'll be debt free, you might never be. And that's no way to live. So as you can see, I ended it off with the big lesson. Now, a lot of people sometimes get this wrong where they put the lesson somewhere in the middle or they put the lesson before they go into the story. The lesson is always best for the end because it helps you recap the story. Whenever someone finishes hearing your story, the big thing they're going to wonder is, okay, so what? Like, why did you tell me that? A lot of the times, remember, people are going to be skimming. So at the very end, it's important to make sure that your final lesson is understandable. And then you hook that into the offer. So if you're someone who was like me, always putting off their finances, no plan to pay off debt and handle financial stress with avoidance, then the best thing you can do is commit to figuring out your finances. And that's what we specialize in. So that's the offer that, of course, hooks into the story. Hopefully that should all make sense to you. It's really pretty simple, but that's how that works. So let's look at some effective examples of each copywriting structure. This is an email for this guy. His name is Michael Kim, CPA personal finance coach, helping working young professionals use money to build a life you actually love. TEDx speaker, digital nomad, Ivy Biz. Apply for a free assessment. But this is not, I would say, save your time and find somebody else possibly. So the thing with outreach, guys, is that you got to think of it like your time. A lot of people waste time going too wide. A lot of people suck at prospecting and they discount prospecting because they're like, the more people I outreach to, the more chances I have. So here's the thing. Everybody knows this. You can either spend a little bit of time on a lot of people or a lot of time on a small amount of people. And the latter is always going to give you the best results because you're going to get the best client. The goal isn't how can I find somebody that hasn't been outreached to yet so I can make them my client. The goal is how do I outreach to these people who get outreached to every day? I come off as different. I come off as someone who is hardworking and I give them so much value that they genuinely want to work with me. I had a guy take videos of my car and he wanted to just do it for free and I just sent him money. Why? Because of something called the feeling of reciprocity. Whenever you give somebody something that they genuinely like and is cool and you spend time on, they're going to be appreciative. And so money to a business owner is like, yeah, man, I'll toss you $500. I'll toss you $1,000. It's like nothing. So, and that might be a lot for you. And it's especially a lot for you if it's going to be like your first bit of money that you make online, because that has sentimental value. With all that being said, now I'm going to go through your copy. So you have some stuff here. Okay. Subject line, your dream life is 12 weeks away. I see this angle a lot on TikTok and Reels. I'm not sure that it matches. And also, like, I didn't see him talking much about a dream life. I think he would talk more about like dream finances. We'll just say that. Not verbatim, word for word, but to paraphrase, like he talks more about dream finances and get your finances right. And in turn, you will get your dream life. So when you're writing for people, it's important to, and this is something about voice that a lot of people aren't going to get first time around, but you have to understand as you go on, is that the business opportunity voice is way different from something that he's doing. So he's a CPA. He's not going to make a TikTok where he's going to be like, hey guys, your dream life is only 12 weeks away. Like you're going to be able to drive a supercar and retire your family and blah, blah, blah. Like he's more talking about like, you're going to make your finances and your funds go farther. You're going to learn how to budget. You're going to know where your money is going. Even if you make the same amount of money, you're going to be able to spend it in such a better way that you're able to go on more vacations, work less, but earn the same amount of money. Get that, whatever it is, your dream car or whatever. This is costing you thousands every year. I think that's a good one, actually. I think that's more on brand. It's time to build your dream life. Does he talk about dream life? Because I haven't seen this. About Me, money podcast, from a lack of education. How good are you with money? Financial freedom. Most people are losing thousands of dollars every year. And by not taking control of this one aspect of their life, they're building a wall between themselves and their hopes and dreams. Okay, good. Down here, like just reading the first two lines is a bit wordy for sure. Bit wordy. And you can also be choosy. Like I know hopes and dreams is kind of like sounds like one thing when you talk about it. Most people are losing thousands of dollars every year. And by not taking control of this one aspect of their life, they're building a wall between themselves and their hopes and dreams. You see how that's really long? So you could literally just say most people are losing thousands of dollars every year and they don't even know it and they don't even realize it. However, because all this stuff is like cool, but is it lead worthy? Like that's the thing that you really has to go through your guys' head. And I'm brutal with it. On like 80% of emails you'll ever see me critique, the first thing I'm usually always going to say is you can cut stuff in the beginning. It should be a meme. Put my face there, and the caption is, "Oh, I'm critiquing your copy. Make sure you cut this in the beginning. Make sure you cut this." Most people are losing thousands of dollars every year, and they don't even notice. However, no matter your financial situation, in 12 weeks, there should be a comma here, you could be on the path to living your dream life. Your dream might be to travel the world, have an early retirement, or simply not have to worry about money ever again. Those are pretty good. Seem like pretty good dream states. But I get it, first name. Investing and money management is only effective when you start early, and it's way too late to start now. Well, this is a common misconception. I would preface this by saying most people feel like, because again, if I were reading this, I'm skimming it, right? So I'm reading it and I'm saying, but I get it. Investing in money management is only effective when you start early. I'd be like, well, shit, I didn't start early. I'm 40 years old now, so I'm going to move on. So I would just preface it by saying, but I get it. Most people feel like investing money management is only effective if you start early, and now it's way too late for them. Well, this is a common misconception. You could also talk about other things. So this isn't a suggestion even, but it's just an idea. You could talk about how most people see budgeting as cutting out things they love, when really it's the opposite. It's about cutting things you don't need to afford more of the things you love and the things that actually matter. I haven't really seen much of that idea before. It reminds me of scheduling. I say this with scheduling a lot. People think that scheduling means that you are in like a prison. You're in like a time prison. When really, scheduling maximizes your time so that you can do more things. When you have an intentional plan with your day. Yeah, it's a little bit, the beginning is a little bit of a run-on sentence. It's a lot. It's basically one sentence, but broken down into 3 lines. In the very first line, that makes it hard to kind of follow. Like your first sentence should be like a statement, short, nice, sweet, quick. But I get it. Investing in money management is only effective when you start early, and it's way too late now. Well, this is a common misconception. By taking control of your finances and putting your money in the right places, you can build a stress-free future where you can live the life you've dreamt of. Pretty good. Let's face it. So when you look at this from a bird's eye view, pacing, you have a long line here, short line, and then you go longer line, medium, then a short line. You're missing a short. So you could literally just go like this. That's how I would make it look. Because this is your scroll stopper right here. This tells people where to stop. You have to understand how people skim. When people skim, what do they stop on? They stop on something that's easy as hell to read. So if I'm reading this, I'm like, blah, 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 let's face it. Like this looks like your point. So I'm going to be like, where's the point? This looks like your point. We all know that guy who always complains about the job he's been at for 15 years, has made zero effort to pursue his dreams, and thinks education is only for millionaires. That's like a big line. That's like the big idea of the email. But I know you're not that person first name. Managing your finances can be very daunting. We almost never want to use this word. Anything very or really, like, imagine if I was like, and he was running very fast. That means the exact same if I just said he was running fast, but it takes up more space. But in copywriting, there's no alwayses or nevers, but you pretty much never want to use that. And you may be thinking, there's no way I'm smart enough to manage my finances. Or you're doing a little bit too much objection handling here. That's the thing. Too much objection handling. Too many ideas too. Like, let's see how long this email is, because it feels long. And there's nothing wrong with a longer email, but it feels 288. I mean, but it should be between 200 and 300. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're going a lot into it. Managing your finances can be very daunting, and you may be thinking, there's no way I'm smart enough to manage my own finances, or I just don't know where to start. It's all too overwhelming. I had the same thought 6 years ago. That's why I created a 12-week one-to-one coaching program to get you on your way to financial freedom. This is a good job of showing why you're convinced and trying not to convince them, but you could go even deeper and it would be more effective. I just don't know where to start. It's all too overwhelming. I had the same thought 6 years ago, but what helped you? I only started achieving whatever dream state when I started talking to trusted professionals. Yeah, I had the same thought 6 years ago, and my finances were piling up, and I was getting into me not understanding my finances was holding me back. And the longer that I kept it, and the longer I just pushed it aside, the worse it got. The more the bills started to pile up, the worse my debt started to pile up, and the worse my credit score started to fall. Until I actually spoke with a professional, and I realized that it wasn't really that difficult. All I had to do was make a few small tweaks to my finances, change where my money was going, and all of a sudden, it was like all those things just disappeared on autopilot. That's exactly why I created a 12-week one-to-one coaching program. So you can go deeper on showing why you're convinced. So if you're worried you'll be stuck in an average life, working a 9 to 5. Also, like I wouldn't call it like a 12-week one-to-one coaching program. That's why I created Fund Your Finances, or whatever the name is, where you get to work with a trusted professional one-to-one, and we get to both sit down, look at your finances, and point you in the right direction. So tell them like how it works. Leave the like 12-week one-to-one coaching program. It sounds like a commitment. Sounds like a big, scary commitment / costs lots of money. So guys, like, remember, great marketing shouldn't feel like marketing. Great copy shouldn't feel like copy. It is a 12-week one-to-one coaching program, but tell them how it's going to like help them. So if you're worried you'll be stuck in an average life, working a 9 to 5 you hate, living paycheck to paycheck, and not being able to travel outside your home country, click here and we'll get on a call to discuss working together. Okay, speak soon. Sign off. It's actually pretty good. You're on week 6, which is not that far in, but I think it's pretty good. Overall, I give this a thumbs up. I gave you some ways it could be better, but overall, it's quite solid. Calisthenics niche. Give value and soft CTA. Listen, for me, not sure about this angle because I have 3 different tips. You can have 3 different tips. It's more of like if it's a listicle, yeah, it's a listicle. So you can have 3 different tips. 3 quick fix for progression. What kind of progression? Calisthenics. Here they are. You'll definitely want to make this better, more curiosity based. It seems very plain and also unspecific. Hey name, what I'm about to share with you will decide if you get an athletic physique or bummed out seeing no improvement and rolling back to square one. I get the idea, but also you could show why you're convinced. And this is just a suggestion, but imagine instead of saying, what I'm about to tell you will decide if you get an athletic physique or bummed out seeing no improvement and rolling back to square one. First of all, this is also very, very wordy, especially for the lead. Again, cut the lead down. What I'm about to tell you took me from bummed out seeing no improvement to having my dream athletic physique and being strong as hell. Really so strong that everybody in the gym would stare at me and come up and ask me how I'm so strong. Something like that. Because that's also what I've noticed calisthenic guys love. I see these, and here's why I know. I see these Instagram reels where a calisthenics guy is like doing a handstand push-up and everybody in the gym is staring at him. It's completely staged as fuck. Like, I'm sorry, but nobody gives a shit about your handstand push-up. But it's completely staged. But their dream state is like doing some random shit for calisthenics and showing off their strength and everybody being super, super impressed, right? That's kind of like they're pulling up in a Lambo or they're flexing and posing and everybody liking their pictures on Instagram or something. It's always surprising to see almost 90% of people can't stick to their training plan after the first month of workout. Yeah, this is also very, very wordy, my friends. Most people can't stick to their workouts. That's it. That's all you're trying to say. So say this instead of this. It's always surprising to me to see almost 90% of people can't stick with their training plan after their first month of workout. Here's the thing. Beginners think like this. They think like, how can I cram in the most amount of like dream state and finesse and avoiding pain state as I can in the beginning of the email? But the beginning of the email isn't even for that. The beginning of the email is light and it's like a hook, right? That's why it's called a hook. It hooks you in. It's light and it just sets the tone for the email and gives context. That's it. This reminds me of like when you see people fight and they throw haymakers. They throw haymakers every single punch. You ever see 2 dudes fight like that and they're just throwing haymakers and they're missing each other and they look like idiots? I'm not saying you guys look like idiots. This is what it reminded me of. These are the 3 things that you should notice. I'm not going to go through the listicles because they're pretty simple. You're basically just giving advice. So let me go to the transition to the CTA. When you jump into a new routine, your body has to adapt first. Then you can increase the intensity and volume and start gaining. You see, all the tips that I've just handed to you have worked for my thousands of students and myself, but they only work if you actively apply them with your training. Will you use them? Until next time, Ben. P.S. Check out my program. It has more tips and advice and make sure you get everything right. It's not bad, but their transition in the CTA could certainly be better. So what I do sometimes is I create the last listicle and I'm very intentional about it. So I tie in the number 3, like let's say number 3, I'm teaching you how to get copywriting clients. Number 3 is you need to have a tracking system. If you ain't tracking, you're slacking. Because just by tracking how many outreaches you're doing per day and how many replies you're getting per day, you're calling attention to what you're doing. But I get it. Tracking can be difficult. As soon as you're opening up a spreadsheet and looking at blank boxes, your mind immediately says, holy shit, I don't want to do this. So I've taken the liberty of creating a free tracking sheet for you. It's easy to fill out. All it takes is 3 seconds per day. And you just fill in how many outreaches you've done, how many replies you've done. And just like that, you will watch your outreach improve. You'll get more opens, more replies, more opportunities to get on sales calls, and then eventually you'll get that much closer to making your first money with copywriting and getting your first client. Number 3, you got to track. If you want to know how to track, CTA. That's the tie-in to number 3. Yeah, I don't know about asking the question at the end. So how I would end this is talk a little bit about myself again. Like by using these 3 things, yeah, you did do that for a minute. You talked about me and my students. But using these things, I was able to XYZ. And by teaching them to my students, they've been able to get the same results. Maybe I would even leave a picture down there. And then best of luck, whatever. Until next time, Ben. And then PS, soft CTA. That's fine too. Okay, I'll spend like 2 seconds on this, but this doesn't look very good. I don't know what you did with your spacing, but it's kind of hard to read. All of your words are in like a different area code, bro. And it's also weirdly really short. So this is your person. Start going viral on purpose and weekly with my personal strategy. That is a terrible headline. My girl, with all due respect, I literally respect you very much because you're doing what 99% of people won't do, which is try, but I've never been more mentally confused. Start going viral on purpose and weekly with my personal strategy. This is an interesting, unique mechanism as well. My personal strategy. He's not even in the center either. Yeah, I mean, again, very much respect to homegirl. I really don't mean to be harsh. I mean, I guess I do, because being honest and harsh and just straight up is probably the best way to help people. Her subtitles are over here. What type of content to create, how to build on your online resume and credibility, how to optimize TikTok features to enhance your content, a winning formula that will help you, that will transform how your brand is seen on social media, how to structure content for your niche, step-by-step process to finding audios. Yeah, these aren't sexy either. What you'll learn is like how to find audios and repurposing your videos. Help you jumpstart taking guests work out of the equation, or winning formula to get more views with SEO. How to get out of the 200 to 300 view range. Yeah, but you already said how to get more views, didn't you? Hashtags, confident on camera, never run out of content strategy. What you get. But she is like a TikTok girl, so like people from TikTok just buy. I don't know. People from TikTok just buy. All right, let's go to the email. The strategy that finally made me go viral. That's good. Simple, but good. Showing why you're convinced, proving that it works. Hey, first name. Back in 2021, when I was starting out my coaching business, I barely had 200 followers. Did you have 200 followers or barely 200 followers? This is like one of those things, like very or really or almost. If you have 200, you have 200. If you have less than 200, you had less than 200. So be more specific. So cut the word or say less than, because it's not like you almost have followers. Like you either have one or you don't. And it wasn't until I tried this new strategy that I went viral. Just about a year later in 2022, my TikTok account had reached 67,000 followers. Now, similar results also happened to my clients. You know, I think that most people on socials don't care that much about followers as they do about views and going viral. So again, I would use this girl's story as much as you can, but what I would do if I were you and you were me, I would say, and just about a year later in 2022, I uploaded my first viral video. It was a video that was essentially just like all my other ones, except I did one small thing different, and I went to bed. I woke up and the video was getting comment after comment after comment. People were loving it and it was going completely viral. It was my first video over 10,000 views and I thought that it was amazing. But little did I know that the viral trend didn't even start yet, because every night I kept waking up to more views and more views and more views, and it was insane. And I thought, this is crazy, but I wonder if I can do it again. So I tried. I did the same strategy, and again, it went viral. And I thought that I was lucky. Maybe all my hard work is paying off, or maybe it's just the algorithm giving me an extra boost because I've been so consistent. But I tried it with some of my students, and lo and behold, what happened is I just kept helping them go viral. They kept going viral as well, exactly the same as me. What did I do? Well, it wasn't searching for a trending audio, because that doesn't actually work. It wasn't about what time I posted. I mean, this is the stuff that everybody will tell you matters, but none of that stuff actually matters. What I actually did was, and then you give it, boom. Came up with the email off the top, off the dome, bro. Freestyle. What's up? Now, similar results also happened to my clients. For example, Eva went from 300 followers to 1,002 followers in just 3 weeks. Now she's at 94K followers. Listen, if you want to achieve something similar, it's the opposite of impossible. Nah. Click here and I'll tell you more. Cheers. So, to be honest, I do see emails like this sometimes where it's like problem agitate and the solution is the CTA, but they don't actually get into what helps them. Honestly, when I get these emails, I get a little bit annoyed and I might click on the thing, but I ain't buying, right? So this will help improve your click-through rate, but at what cost? And here's the thing. Sometimes people get too interested in vanity metrics, even in email marketing, because you get more people who click here, but you get less people who buy. And you also get less people who care, because you gave a really short email And then you're like, if you want to know how, click here. You didn't give any unique mechanism. You didn't give any hints. You didn't even really create any intrigue. I already feel like I know it's going to be through there. So keep working, my friend. Yeah, and that story was also that wasn't a story at all, my friend. That was a chronology. You said she had 67,000 followers, or sorry, I went viral. I got 67K. Eva went from 300 to 1,000 in 3 weeks. And now she's at 94. If you want to do the same, click here. Like that's if I made an email like, I had 0 clients for a while, got a client. A couple weeks later, got another client. Joe, he didn't have any clients. He got a client. 3 months later, he got 3 more clients. If you want to know how, click here. You'd be like, man, that's pretty weak. Okay, guys, now we are back at the action steps. So the action steps to write your first email. So number 1, pick a business to write for. If you need inspiration, check the copy starter kit. Okay, the free copy starter kit down below in the description is literally filled with who to write for. Inside of the swipe file, you want to know who to write for those people. On the landing pages, it will show you the landing page swipe file that I'm about to give you or I already have given you. You can literally just go there and you can check out all the businesses there. You can look them up. You can find out more about them, about their offer, and you can write email copy for them. And remember, email copy is the most simple copy to write. It's what you want to start with. It's what you want to master right off the bat. And it's the easiest to send in for review because other people aren't necessarily going to want to read super long pieces of copy from you. So just one 200 to 300 word email is awesome. So we're going to start with that. Now, of course, I do highly recommend that you watch the full entire course first and then come back and do these steps. So next is to compile common content. So you go onto their social medias or their Instagrams or even anything on their landing page and you go and you compile a lot of the common content that you're seeing and you get some angles. And that's, of course, the next step is to come up with an idea and use structure. Next, we want to write, copy, and refine. Then we want to sleep on the copy and read the copy the next day. This is going to let you read it with a fresh mind because when you're sitting there and you're hyper focused on one piece of copy, maybe you've been working on it for an hour, you are going to understand what you're trying to say. But someone else who hasn't read the copy before might not understand what you're trying to say. So by going to sleep and coming back to it the next day, essentially what you're doing is you're giving yourself those brand new eyes. You're reading it as though you're reading it for the very first time, and it's going to highlight some things that you did wrong. You're going to be able to read it like you're reading it for the first time, and all of a sudden you're going to notice all of these things that you did wrong. You'll be like, holy crap, I can't even believe that I wrote that. Next is you're going to want to submit your copy for review in the Discord channel or on the school community. Highly important. Next, you're going to want to review 3 pieces of copy for every one that you send in for review. And yes, even if you are a brand new beginner, still go through and review other people's copy, give your feedback on it. And this isn't going to only help the community and help them with their copy, but it's also going to help you because you're looking at more copy, you're reading more copy, you're breaking it down, and you're seeing what you like about it, what you don't like about it, what you think can be fixed. So guys, just like I said, here's how to make the most out of this mega course, okay? It's a lot. I understand. It might feel overwhelming. It might feel like you've bitten off a little bit more than you could chew here, but this is how you're going to want to take it. So you're going to watch the whole thing fully, then you're going to do all the action steps, and then you're going to come back, and then you're going to really dig deep and get into it. Write your copy, watch me write my first piece of copy or write my copy, then basically do the same things that I'm doing step by step. You watch it, you do it, you watch it, you do it, so on and so forth. And then we're going to go over everything else. We're going to go over the outreach stuff. You want to do it with that as well. We're going to go over the secondary skills. And at the end, there's going to be a complete massive action plan. So that's exactly what that's going to look like. Now, some more email breakdowns to help you get started. I'm just going to show you some more email breakdowns here just to kind of finish it all off. Now you know how to do email. So let's go and look at some more email breakdowns. All right, everybody. And now that is emails. You now know how to write emails. You understand emails. Let's talk about landing pages because landing pages are also extremely important. So what are the types of landing pages? Well, the ones we're going to focus on here are video sales letters and blocks. So what this looks like is just like it sounds like. At the top, you have a video sales letter, which is essentially just a video that is selling the products. Underneath, you have blocks, which are essentially just blocks of text. And you're going to notice over all the landing pages that we go over here that they're all pretty similar. Every single landing page has similar blocks. Some of them have some stuff about a guarantee. Some of them have stuff about here's what's actually inside. Some of them have things about meet your instructor. So they're essentially the same things just for all different businesses. So you're going to learn those blocks and learn what they are. Next is TSL and blocks. TSL is a text sales letter. So this one is a landing page that doesn't have a video on it, but it has a bunch of text that actually does the selling. And of course, we're going to look at some of those. And then next are opt-in pages. These ones are really simple. They're usually a lot shorter than the other ones because the main goal isn't necessarily to sell, but it's just to capture emails and capture people's names. Okay. So essentially what it is just a picture of a free thing and then a box where you can fill in your details to get that free thing. thing. That's essentially what that looks like. So let's look at some landing pages together. I could sit here and explain more theory and more theory and more theory, but let's just get into it, man, because looking at what landing pages look like and just breaking them down is going to be the best way to actually understand. So as you can see, this is a video sales letter, just like I was talking about. You come to the page and everything you see when you first get on the page is called the above the fold. That's what it's referred to. So make sure you remember that, because we're going to be talking about that more as we go on. But as you can see, we have a headline here and a video. Now we're going to break this down in massive detail as we go on. But for right now, I just want to go through a couple, show you, point out the similarities, and then kind of break them down even farther. So as you can see, big headline here, then there's the video that you can play, and then there's the button. That's almost always how video sales letters are going to go. And then you go down. Now these are called blocks. Okay, so this is essentially a text block showing you what it is. This is another text block showing you some other stuff and explaining why this is the best. More stuff. Like this is essentially a text sales letter down here. These big bolded parts here in the middle, they're centered and they're bolded. They're called scroll stoppers. So if you're scrolling through just literally how I'm doing right now, you're going to read these. And the point of these is to actually suck you in and bring you in to reading the rest of it. So if I'm just going to scroll, introducing training grounds. Now I'm interested. What's training grounds? What is that? What is it supposed to be? And then I'm going to read on more, and this is going to tell me what it is. Then some more, this is called bullets, a bunch of bullets. This is called a value stack. Again, we're going to learn more about that as we go on. And then there's a button right there. And then there's frequently asked questions at the very bottom. That's how 90% of your video sales letters are going to look. And if you don't believe me, we can go through a couple of the other examples right here. And you're going to notice like, holy crap, all of these look very similar. And yes, you're right. They do. They all look very similar. But again, guys, the point I'm trying to make here is that because they all look similar, all you have to do is just figure out how to make it. You figure out how to do it, and you can do it for any business. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to do anything crazy. So as you can see, this is a video sales letter. This has a headline. This is not a traditional headline like I'm going to teach you how to write, but anyways, not a big deal. Like I said, scroll stoppers, and then some more copy right here. Scroll stopper, more copy, scroll stopper, more copy, and so on and so forth. Some testimonials here, which is something we actually didn't check out on the other one, but basically most landing pages have testimonials as well. And this is the value stack right here, essentially showing you all the things that you get, adding up all the value. The total value is $700, but today's price is $47. That's essentially how that looks. Another one, headline, video. I hope you're starting to notice a pattern. Button, scroll stopper copy, scroll stopper copy, bullets, testimonials, and then the end price. And then we'll look at one more. Headline, video, testimonials, copy with scroll stoppers, and then we have bullets, we have more and more. So as you can see, I went over those really quickly, but again, I just kind of wanted to show you how they work. We're going to go deeper into them right now. So landing page anatomy. So landing page headlines. The first questions that pop into a reader's head as soon as they land on any page is, who is this for? Why should I keep reading? And what should I do next? So here's headline anatomy. So the eyebrow copy. Let me open one up over here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the eyebrow, this spot right up here at the top. This is the main copy right here. And then this at the bottom is the deck copy. This is how 90% of headlines are going to look. So the eyebrow copy usually calls out the reader or adds to the big promise somehow. The main headline of the copy gives people the main specific promise, the big thing that they're going to learn or they're going to attain. And then the deck copy, the one line at the bottom, this adds to the promise by usually increasing perceived ease or effectiveness. So something like, even if you don't have any experience, or even if you've never done this before, or works in 90 days or anything like that. So I have some examples here. Attention entrepreneurs, that is the eyebrow copy, and it's calling out their desired audience. You're one step away from learning how you can transition your skill set into building a wildly profitable AI business. And then that was the main headline. And then the deck copy, the one at the bottom, best part is we guarantee at least 5 AI agency clients or you don't pay. Calling out their audience at the top, then the main headline, the big promise, and then a deck copy in order to add to the promise or increase the perceived ease or effectiveness. And that's exactly what he's doing there. Next is for ClickFunnels, struggling to get a consistent flow of customers. So that's them calling out their audience, calling out a problem. Meet ClickFunnels. Now this isn't, again, as traditional as the ones that we've already seen, but again, it works. Getting people to your website and turning them into happy paying customers is what we do best. That's the deck copy. So this is the, again, sales page psychology. So who is this for? Why should I read? Why should I keep going? And then what's next? What should I do next? What's next? What else? And then of course, what's next is usually just to watch the video or anything like that. But that's basically what it is. So landing page scroll stoppers, as we were speaking about earlier. When people come to a landing page, they usually scroll instead of reading everything. You don't want to ever assume readership. That's what it's called. Assuming readership is when you're just going to assume that people are going to read every single thing line by line by line by line. You want to ask yourself, okay, if somebody's scrolling and they just scroll right to the middle of the page, what's going to make them stop scrolling and grab their attention again so they can start reading? When people come to landing pages, they usually scroll instead of reading everything. That's why it's important to implement scroll stoppers to get people to pay attention and start reading to learn more. So here are some common landing page scroll stoppers, and they're usually in a block. I call these text blocks, but as you're going to see, a lot of them have the same thing. So this one says, what is the gentleman approach? And then it explains it. So why a funnel? Essentially what it is answering the question of, so what? Like, what about this product? What about this thing? What about this service actually makes it good? What makes it different? And what makes it better than everything else? That's one of the first questions that people are going to ask. That's why this is usually one of the first text blocks that there are. So what is the gentleman approach? So why a funnel? So on and so forth. Next is meet your instructor. This one is very common as well. So meet your instructor, Benjamin Seda, and then it talks about him and it talks about what he does. Meet your instructor, Sander Sage. And then again, it talks about him and it talks about what he does. That's basically it. And then next is to relate to the reader. So here's one that I'll read to you. The current agency model is broken. Say goodbye to chasing clients in a saturated market, low profit margins, and cookie cutter robot work. The IPGA model is right for you if, and then it's just going to go through some common things to relate to the reader. So if you struggle with signing clients and want to offer an in-demand service, if you're sick of 3-month contracts and want to create lasting partnerships, if you know the old models are broken, you want to work for higher profit, or if you want to start an online business that isn't robotic or dishonorable. So guys, that's what it looks like to actually relate to the reader. And next we're going to be talking about bullets/feature plus benefits combo. So essentially these are bullets, and bullets in copywriting are super important. We touched on them briefly when we're talking about emails, but guys, bullets are the quickest and most efficient way to communicate without putting in a bunch of text. And a bullet plus features combo is essentially showing you what you get and then how it helps you, and then what you get and then how it helps you. So for example, smooth opening, non-cringy openers that actually work and create a connection in seconds. So you'll always know exactly what to say and start off on the right foot. So this is for like a pickup artist guy who's teaching people how to approach the opposite sex, I guess. And then there's another one, like instant exchange. My simple method for getting girls Instagram in a rush, literally in 30 seconds or less. So exactly what it is, so instant exchange, and then the benefit to learning it, the benefit of what it will give you. Here's another one, pimp your profile in 4 easy steps. 11, copy and paste templates for writing captivating captions that make women melt. So this is like how to get girls on Instagram program or something. But essentially, I picked this one because it's really easy to understand. Sometimes when I read copy about like business or financial or stuff that's a little bit too complicated, it gets lost on people. But this stuff is a lot more simpler. That's why I chose it. So ClickFunnels gives you everything you need to succeed online. So sales funnels, convert your online visitors to actual paying customers. Website, create your web presence exactly the way you want, so on and so forth. Okay, this is exactly what it looks like. The big feature, what it is, and then exactly how it helps you. And then of course, testimonials. Testimonials they should be on basically every single sales page, every single landing page, because they're extremely important. Testimonials essentially show that what you're doing works. What you're doing actually works, and people are literally getting results with it now. So over here, we have member transformations about people changing their bodies. Over here, we have check out what my clients are saying about this training. People are saying that they're getting dates with this program. More people saying they're getting dates. Next is value stack. Almost every single one has this one as well. So here's what it looks like. It shows you every single thing that you're going to get, and then it attaches a value to that thing. So then at the end, as you can see, you get $2,000 worth of value. But if you join today, you can get it for just $97 a month. This essentially is because it relates back to the thing that I said earlier, whereas people don't buy things that are worth what they are. So I'm not going to buy something that I think is worth $200 if the price is $200. I'm only going to buy that thing if I feel as though I'm getting a spectacular deal. So I'm only going to buy it for $150 or $100 if I believe that it's actually worth $200. And that's what 99% of people are going to do. Again, over here, as you can see, more value stack. You get this. Total value 776. Today's price $47. And then next is the urgency to act now. This usually closes out every single landing page or sales page, but this is what it looks like. You can't afford to wait. Seize the moment. In a world driven by progress, standing still is not an option. And then he goes on farther to talk about how you taking action right now is going to get you the best results. It's usually not that difficult to imply some sort of urgency, but like I said before in the email section, the best urgency is going to be the situational urgency, the situational scarcity. And then we usually end it off with some frequently asked questions, some FAQ. So the reason why we do this and we add it to the very bottom is for the people who literally just take their mouse and just scroll all the way to the bottom and just want to see what it's about. They don't want to read anything. They don't want to be marketed to. They just want to know the bare facts and basics. So that's exactly what we give them. So we give them a question, we give them the answer, what the common question is, what the answer is, and so on and so forth. Again, another FAQ. Usually they're in a drop-down box like this so that they're concise and people will read them more easier. And now, my friends, I want to give you a gift. Yes, another gift on top of the whole mega course, the whole free mega course that you're already watching. And that is a gigantic 100 sales page swipe file, yours for free. You heard that right. 100 sales pages all in one. Here's a complete mega swipe file. As you can see, I just opened it up. And of course, you can get this in the free copy starter kit. Again, the reason why I put it all in the kit is because I don't want to have like a billion links down there in the description and just be more confusing. So you can just go get the copy starter kit for free, and then you can check all of these out. Now, some of these have previews that we can look at. Okay, awesome. So as you can see, we're going to come in like this. Okay, awesome. We see the headline. We see some copy. The market has changed. These are the scroll stoppers. That's where you come in. Introducing digital marketing mastery. We have some bullets right there. How it works. Awesome. So there's literally, as I just said, over 100 sales pages in here that you can look at if you want to add to your personal swipe file, break down some copy, get some inspiration. I mean, guys, just absolute banger. If you guys are getting value so far, guys, make sure you run up the video, like the video, comment on the video, share the video. Dude, this is way too much value to keep to yourself. Don't gatekeep it. Next,